His eyes went wide, with shock and pain, then clouded over with the near-instant death that became his fate. "Do not think it!" Muggs screamed as she moved forward, her pistol out and pointed at the freaked-out Marines. "Put the carbines down now!" The Marines hesitated for only a split second, then set their carbines down. "LT?" Hole asked over the comm. "We have this," Motherboard said. "Disengage from the other ship once we are out of the docking portal. Mug, take Dylan to the brig. Secure him and stay there yourself. I want eyes on him from here on out." "Shah Margol?" Mug asked. "Leave him be," Motherboard said. "I don't want anyone to talk to him until we reach our destination." "That's still the black site?" Cookie asked, as Mug hurried from the docking portal with Dylan in tow. Cookie's eyes were locked onto the disarmed Marines, his pistol rock steady. "Not likely," Motherboard said. "The op is foobar. We get clear of the Havelov system, then regroup." She nodded at the Marines. "Take Dilmon's corpse with you," Motherboard continued. "Report back to Fleet Headquarters and tell them exactly what happened here. Be honest, and let the brass sort out the particulars of betrayal." "We're letting them go?" Cookie asked. "And how do we know for sure they aren't working for the Kalari Syndicate too?" "We don't," Motherboard said. "But it doesn't matter. They are more valuable alive, so they can tell whomever they are working for exactly what happened here." She took a couple steps towards the Marines, and they flinched. Motherboard smiled. "When you do tell them, be sure you mention that Lieutenant Bish Falk and Drop Team Zero made it all happen. If you are loyal to the fleet, then they'll know what that means. If you are bought and paid for by the Syndicate, then they will know what it means. Just be honest with who you speak with. That's all I'm asking." The Marines stood there, hands up, eyes wide with fear and anxiety. "That means leave, morons," Cookie said. "Get back on your ship and tell your pilot to get the foe out of here." "LT," Hole said again, but that time her voice sounded considerably more urgent. "We need you to get inside the ship ASAP. I am disengaging the portal in 30 seconds. "Hole just gave you an order, LT," Cookie chuckled. "Then we better do what she says," Motherboard replied. "She usually doesn't ask twice." Motherboard and Cookie backed away from the Marines and into the docking airlock. As soon as they were all the way in, Motherboard reached out and closed the airlock. A loud siren rang out, and the Marines scrambled inside their own airlock as the docking portal began to disassemble itself and retract back to the 838. The moment the sirens stopped, Motherboard spun about and activated the team channel on her comm. "Are we secure?" Motherboard asked. "Private channel only," Hole said. "Not even Fleet Tech will crack it." "Zero. We are in the dark here until I can contact Fleet Headquarters," Motherboard said. "Any and all ships that approach us are now considered hostiles. I do not care what affiliation they pretend to have. We are on our own until we are told otherwise. Does everyone copy?" Her comm was filled with the sounds of acknowledgement. She turned and looked at Cookie, and he gave her a quick nod as a mischievous grin spread across his face. "What?" Motherboard asked, as they hurried from the belly of the ship and up to the bridge. "Now this is an op," Cookie said. "Now the fun really starts." "I worry about you sometimes, Cookie," Motherboard said, but not without her own mischievous grin creeping across her lips. "But only sometimes." They climbed a ladder and were almost to the top when the entire ship shook. The far-off sounds of plasma fire could be heard, and the grins both left their faces fast. "Get us out of here," Motherboard ordered through the comm. "Hole, do not bother engaging. Just get us gone." "No longer an option, LT," Hole replied. "The 6 fighters have spread out in a contain and collapse formation. We are basically surrounded." "Foe," Motherboard swore. "Then ignore my previous order and have Wanders take care of this." "He already is," Hole said, as more plasma fire could be heard. "We are going to take some damage to our shields, but they should hold long enough for—" Her voice was cut off as the ship rocked violently to the side. Motherboard and Cookie stepped on to the next level just as the corridor went dark and red emergency lights kicked on. "Hole, what the hell?" Motherboard shouted into the comm as she and Cookie raced down the corridor. "Shields are down, LT," Hole yelled. "We didn't take a hit hard enough for that to happen." "Override," Cookie said, as if he was pointing at a pretty wildflower on the meadow planet C. "The fighters have the codes. We're foed." "Do what you can, Hole," Motherboard said. "We're almost to the bridge."